Let's look at some quantizing examples. And by the way, you might hear me dropping the terms of quantizing, autocorrection, scale, and resolution kind of around interchangeably. They all kind of mean the same thing within our discussion of the DR-670. Tell you what, let's drop out all of these 4 pads that we've recorded by record shift delete, and we'll just hold them all down and they'll wipe out over the course of that measure. Okay, so let's set up our scale to be 1/8 notes, and we'll record a really sloppy kick and snare, okay? This will show you how forgiving the DR-670 is in terms of it cleaning up your time or quantizing. Here we go. See, my timing originally was really bad, but that cleaned it up to the nearest 1/8 notes. Now let's delete these parts again, shift and delete, and pull them out here. And let's try another kick and snare that's a little bit busy. Here we go. Did you hear how some of those parts I recorded just slammed to the nearest 1/8 notes? But that's really not what I wanted. A kick and snare pattern like this that goes actually holds a much finer resolution than 1/8 notes. The space between the kick and the snare here, when I go, that's actually a 16th note in between those parts there. So there's no way that I can record a part like this. That's never going to be recorded faithfully in a pattern where the quantizing resolution is set to 1/8 notes. It just ain't going to happen. Do you now see the correlation between quantizing resolution and how busy the part you were recording is? You cannot capture anything that is finer than the current quantized resolution or scale. If it's set to 1/8 notes and you drop in some hi-hats like this, for example, they just won't come out right. They'll all get smashed together to the nearest 1/8 note resolution. Same thing with, say, triplets. If you're going to drop some triplets over a pattern, you'd need to select a corresponding resolution which included triplets. Here's the rule of thumb. Set your quantization scale or resolution to the smallest note size that you want to capture. Let's try some examples. What about a pattern like this? That would be 1/8 notes, right? There's nothing I play that's finer than just 1/8 notes. Let's record that with a scale of 1/8 note quantizing. Everything should work out fine. Great, worked out fine. Let's delete that and we'll start again. What about a pattern like this? Those hi-hat parts are down at the 16th note level, right? We need to set the quantizing resolution or scale to at least 16th notes. Otherwise, we'll get this. Remember, the scale is set to 1/8 right now. Here we go. See, those hi-hat parts all got smashed together to the nearest 1/8 notes. We don't want that. So we'll delete that and we'll set the resolution to something a little better for our purposes right here, which would be 16th notes. Here we go. Perfect. Now what about a shuffle or, say, a triplet feel? Let me stop that. What about... That would need to be set to, say, an 1/8 note triplet. Shift and scale, and we can set it to 1/8 note triplet, record and start, and see if we can record this and it'll come out fine. 2, 3. So you can be really sloppy with this hi-hat and it will always come back to that 1/8 note triplet. This kind of quantizing is perfect for a shuffle beat. Now, of course, if you don't want to auto correct your timing, you don't have to. Shift and scale, you can set it all the way to off. In this case, with the quantizing off, what you play is exactly what you get. No notes will be auto-corrected. I sometimes use this for hi-hats when I want to make them sound realistic. I quite often quantize the kick and snare and then leave that to off just for the hats. Wouldn't it be awesome to get free weekly advice from an expert in the pro audio industry? an expert who's worked with the biggest names in the business, including Michael Jackson, Whitney Houston, Phil Collins, Chicago, Diana Ross, Mary J. Blige, and Aretha Franklin. For a limited time, ProAudioDVDs.com has put together an entire year-long course on all the stuff you want to know. It gets delivered in high-resolution videos and articles to your email inbox every week. Oh, and get this, it's free. So, why the heck do we give away $197 of free Pro Audio training? That's just how we roll. I'm David Wells, and you're just minutes away from your first lesson. Go to www.ProAudioDVDs.com and sign up for the Pro Audio Academy. That's www.ProAudioDVDs.com and sign up in the little yellow box.